According to the recent results of an Economist YouGov poll, 76% of Americans support mental competency tests for politicians over the age of 75. The responses didn't differ significantly along party line, with 84% of Republicans and 70% of Democrats saying they're in favor of a mental competency test. Now, more voters said they're more concerned about Biden's mental competency than they are of Donald Trump's, which, okay, sure. But the problem I have with this poll is that it's, do you support mental competency tests for politicians over the age of 75? There shouldn't be a limit. Like, there shouldn't be a threshold here. Do you support mental competency tests for elected officials? Period, should have been the question. Because I agree that we need mental competency tests, but I do not believe that we should engage in this ageism just because, hey, we've seen two old members of Congress, members of the Senate, really, Feinstein and McConnell. Clearly, there's something going on with both of them. And yes, that is likely related to their ages. But you're going to look at somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who isn't even close to being age 75, and you're going to look at her and be like, no, she doesn't need a mental competency test. Oh, Matt Gaetz, no, don't need to test him. Louis Gohmert, no, man, you're good. Andy Biggs, Scott Perry, Lauren Boebert, Jim Jordan. All of you folks think, no, we shouldn't test them for their mental competency. Paul Gosar, like, no, just because they're not 75, we shouldn't check to see if these people are mentally competent. That's absurd. That is absolutely absurd. And here's the kicker. It can't just be a mental competency test, right? Because I think what most people think of when they're like mental competency tests for the older members of Congress, they're basically thinking of like the dementia tests. Yeah, you know, like, hey, can you draw the clock? Can you remember these 5 words? That's not what we need. We actually need psychological evaluations, right? Take it a step further and go into real mental competency. You know, are these people living in reality? Do they have some kind of, mental issue that prevents them from being able to do their job properly? Not related to age, but related to what's actually up here. That's what we need. Because I guarantee you there is a lot of Republicans holding office right now that would not pass that test. And they're well under the age of 75, but they'll probably be in Congress till they are over 75, and then I guess that's when the rest of the public will give a damn about whether or not these people are mentally competent to do their jobs. No threshold, and go beyond just, the competency test. Psychological evaluations are needed for every member of Congress. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.